Oh boy, from warm to windy to wet. Look at that, spring is definitely here. We're tracking a line of storms making their way across Indiana. Thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence. We've got meteorologist Sean Ash here with what we can expect over the next few hours. A wet one, a warm one.
Yeah, we got up close to 80 plus here. The good news is with this, it's quick moving, it's not severe, and we're still going to have several hours to enjoy the evening before the heavy rain spigot opens up overnight into Wednesday morning. Look downtown here. Oh yeah, we're getting ready for a big weekend here in Indianapolis. As you can see, the setup here is fully underway. We did have a burst of rain that pushed through. This is what's left of that. As I mentioned, it is not severe. We've had some rumbles of thunder with it, and we've had some pops of lightning as well. You can see how quickly it's moving through Greenwood, heading towards Shelbyville and into parts of Greenfield. I want to show you some of our cameras here across central Indiana at this hour, just to show you what's going on. Let's get you into NDOT 1 here. This is coming into the city. You're starting to see the sunshine developing there. And then let's get you down into Bloomington, show you what it looks like on IU's campus. Certainly gray. Rain-free, that's going to be ending here pretty soon. But again, this is just a real thin area of rain, and a lot of this is going to be looking pretty quiet as we go through the evening. All right, 77 Columbus, there's Bloomington, checking in at 80 degrees. You may have a few raindrops. The main action will occur overnight. So look at future track 13. This is at 7 o'clock. So we're focusing well to the north and northwest. And here you go. We do want you to be prepared for tomorrow morning. We may not have a whole lot of severe weather with it. We are definitely going to have a lot of rain with it. It is going to be a wet Wednesday morning. We'll have more ahead in the 7-day forecast.
All right, we'll stay with you, Sean. And of course, you could stream our new live local radar 24/7. That way you can track the rain as it rolls in tomorrow, know what's happening specifically in your neighborhood. Check the forecast whenever you want. Just download our free streaming app, WTHR Plus, on your TV.
Now to the fight over a proposed data center in Indy's Martindale-Brightwood neighborhood.
So a big vote is coming. This is a story that we've been following for months now. Our Matthew Foltz just got back from speaking with those in that neighborhood and city leaders on both sides of this proposal. Stakeholders standing strong on this one.
Yeah, that's right. They really are. And you may remember the Metropolitan Development Commission is expected to make a final vote on this proposed plan tomorrow. It's going to be over at the intersection of 25th and Sherman. And today was really a last-minute plea from the community, hoping that the commissioners will side in their favor. So earlier today, I got a chance to speak with Samson Levingston, who does the historical walk and talk tours around the city. So today he led a group through neighborhoods near 25th and Sherman, which is where the company Metro Blocks wants to build their data center. Now, it would be about 13 acres on land that's next to the Safeway store, if you're familiar with that area. So several community members came out today, including State Senator Angela Hundley, and it's something that Samson believes won't be good for neighbors on this side of town.
Where you sit politically, this is something that's affecting Hoosiers all across the state, and it's honestly sick to see it happening in a city, in an urban area.
And that was Andrea Hundley. Sorry, I misspoke there. Now, last month, the hearing examiner with the Metropolitan Development Commission recommended that this data center be approved. So now it will go before the full commission tomorrow afternoon for a final vote. I did get a chance to speak with Councilor Ron Gibson, who represents that district, just a few hours ago. He tells me he believes this is a good idea. He still supports it. You'll see more and hear from him coming up at 5 p.m.
He says it's a good investment for the neighborhood. I'm curious, though, why in a city? Because we see a lot of these data centers popping up, but they're kind of along the corridor of the interstate or out where there's a little more open land.
Yeah, so I sat down with the CEO last month, and he says that, they like the urbanism of that area, and for the size that they want to build, this specific land fits what they want. So of course you can see that exclusive interview for my sit down with him right now on WTHR.com. Again, he believes that this is a good idea. The CEO wants to come in, work with the community to get this done. So we'll see how it plays out tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, and we've been doing a lot of reports on why these data centers are popping up in Indiana and why developers are trying to move them here. We've posted a lot of those reports at WTHR.com as well.
Thanks for following it, Matthew.
Yeah, sure thing.
Have you seen this billboard? It's part of a nationwide campaign about the dark side of March Madness, sex trafficking. These billboards are up in multiple host cities, including Indy, ahead of the Final Four. The nonprofit Rights for Girls is the group behind them. You'll see this one in Lebanon, heading south on I-65. The group says big events bring more sex buyers into town, putting more victims at risk. The group launched a similar campaign during the Final Four last year in San Antonio. 8 trafficking victims were rescued during law enforcement operations. But advocates say there's a common misconception about those impacted.
You're often like, it is the victimless crime, or it's important not to conflate like consensual sex with sex trafficking. But that's often not the case.
Rights for Girls has also put up billboards during the Indy 500. Where crowds grow, they say, so does the risk. If you see something suspicious, call the trafficking hotline.
All right, thanks there, Ashton. And the school bus driver and bus monitor testified today in the trial of a Jennings County teen charged with raping a nonverbal 7-year-old boy with autism. Landon Doty was 15 years old last spring. That's when he is accused of sexually assaulting the younger boy he was seated next to on a special needs bus. Doty faces 11 felony charges. In testimony today, the bus driver and bus monitor say they stopped the bus and separated the two boys when they noticed the younger boy on Doty's lap, but they saw nothing sexual. Doty told them he was just bouncing the boy on his knee, acting silly. The guardian of the defendant says she also saw the video and says it shows nothing of a sexual nature.
He denies doing anything of any sexual nature to this boy ever.
Ever. He said he didn't hurt at all in any way, any manner, any form.
Obviously, we took out the alleged victim's name there to try to protect their identity, and this trial is ongoing. Charges were filed after a review of 300 hours of school bus surveillance video. The jury will see the video tomorrow, and Doty is also expected to testify. We'll keep you updated.
Rich Nye is in the courtroom. He's going to have another update for us coming up at 5. Indiana is now joining 20 other states to fight a troubling trend in prisons across the country, because leaders say it's a problem we're seeing here too. We're talking about the alarming rise in the number of drones used to drop illegal contraband directly into prison yards. Drugs, weapons, cell phones, you name it. Today, the Attorney General's office announced it wants the Trump administration to provide state and local law enforcement with the ability to disable or intercept these drones before they reach prison property. Indiana's Department of Corrections says it would appreciate the help. A spokesperson told me in a statement today, our staff does successfully intercept items intended for the incarcerated population. When it is possible to identify the person responsible, we work closely with law enforcement to support prosecution. And then they went on to say, we are grateful for any additional support to these efforts. Well, now to the high cost of living. A new report shows Indianapolis now has one of the highest eviction rates in the country.
Alarming numbers. So we wanted to take a closer look at what's driving those numbers. Our Ella Rhodes dug into the data.
The Fair Housing Center of Central Indiana found that landlords file eviction for about 14 out of every 100 renters in Marion County, which they find alarmingly high. And when renters face eviction hearings, they usually come to their township courts like this one. The first 9 months of 2025, landlords filed nearly 19,000 eviction cases. In 2024, the overall number was just above 25,000. Eviction Labs, which tracks evictions in some states and cities, show out of 27 cities, Indy has the 6th highest rate. The Fair Housing Center of Central Indiana Executive Director Amy Nelson says the root cause comes down to affordable housing options and livable wages. She says eviction also impacts a person's mental health.
It's your neighbors and your friends who can't keep up with these housing costs and then have to move or are living in substandard housing conditions because they can't go somewhere else, or extended stay hotels, or become unhoused. All of that matters to us.
There are free resources available to help renters through the eviction process, one of the programs through the city, which we'll tell you more about ahead at 5:30. In Indianapolis, Ella Rhodes, 13 News.
And clearly an issue here locally, more so than in a lot of other places across the country.
Yeah, experts say that because our cost of living in relation to the money that people make is so low, but when things shoot up like this and skyrocket, the cost of what people make doesn't always catch up.
Well,
and then it's a very fickle kind of numbers game.
And owning a home is expensive too. There's a housing shortage. Just this week, Senator Todd Young introduced a bipartisan bill aimed at helping boost the housing supply and lower costs. It would essentially create a plan to allow more lending opportunities and support for companies in the housing industry, like contractors, that type of thing, to allow them to be more successful, to kind of open up the pipeline to get more housing out there.
So that there is more housing available.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes. All right, a reminder now to watch your speed. State police and local law enforcement agencies across the state are teaming up to increase patrols starting this weekend. Their goal is to crack down on not only speeding, but distracted driving too. It's all part of the annual Safer Roads campaign. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 249 people died in speeding-related crashes in 2023 in Indiana. That was the most recent collection of numbers. And 47 people died in crashes involving distracted driving. This crackdown, again, it starts this weekend. It's going to run the first 2 weeks of April.
Today, the Randsburg YMCA is closing its doors on the east side of Indianapolis. That center is located near 10th and Shadeland. The decision to close it sparked protest and petitions from neighbors in that community. But YMCA leaders say they found no viable solutions for sustainability. Since the Randsburg location is closing, association-wide memberships are valid at all YMCA of Greater Indianapolis locations.